Welcome to the Cooperation in Education podcast series. In this limited series, we will dive into the future of higher education and explore how cooperations can transform learning experiences. This podcast series is part of the Cooperation in Education Knowledge Gateway project, in short, the CiE Gateway project. CiE Gateway is an international project that aims to support educators in better preparing their students for the dynamic and challenging world of work. We do that by 1. Encouraging multidisciplinary and external collaborations, 2. Fostering engagement with industry and society for educational practice, and 3. Equipping academic staff with tools and resources to enhance education delivery. The CiE Gateway project unites partners from 4 countries across Europe: IMTBS from France, FH Münster from Germany, UIN for the Netherlands, and Young from Finland. The CiE Gateway project is funded by the European Union. Views and opinions expressed are, however, those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the Finnish National Agency for Education. Neither the European Union nor the granting authority can be held responsible for them.
Hello everyone, welcome back to one more episode of the Cooperation in Education podcast series. Today we will discuss the topic From Classroom to Boardroom, showcasing student talent in collaborative projects. And for that, I have Medisa with me. Medisa is from the International Center for Knowledge Resilience Joint Research Center between the University of Technology Sydney and the Institute Mines-Télécom in France. And she is a partner in the CiE Gateway project, and I'm very happy to have her with us today. Hi Medisa, welcome. I would like to give you the space to introduce yourself to our listeners, please.
Hello, Mainara. Thank you for introducing me and having me on your today's podcast. I am really excited to speak about our topic From Classroom to Boardroom, where we will showcase student talents in collaborative projects and good practices. As you introduced me, I am Medisa, and currently I am working as researcher and one of the project officers on Cooperation in Education Knowledge Gateway project, where Institute Mines-Télécom Business School is a partner. So I am happy to speak about the topic of the student talents in collaborative projects.
Thanks so much, Medisa. I'm very excited about our talk today as well. To kick things off, I know that you are a PhD student and I know your topic, so I would like to explore that a bit, especially in the sense of transdisciplinary innovation. So maybe you can introduce why do you study that? And I know that it's a term that some people might know, some people may not know. So I would like you to just give a brief introduction and explain what is the topic, what it means, and how we can connect transdisciplinary innovation to collaborative projects and also cooperation education.
Definitely. As you mentioned, I'm currently doing my PhD at the University of Technology Sydney at the School of Transdisciplinary Innovation, where I'm focusing my studies on crossing research across disciplines to bring some innovation that is working in a real world while also keeping that holistic approach in my brain while doing it. And on this note, I would, for our listeners, explain or define transdisciplinary innovation as the integration of knowledge, methodologies, and perspectives from multiple disciplines to solve complex problems that cannot be usually addressed by a single field of study or discipline. And unlike traditional interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approaches, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary innovation actually combines insights from different disciplines while keeping distinct transdisciplinary innovation going further by blurring the boundaries between disciplines and creating new frameworks and ways of thinking. And the collaboration actually is one of the key focuses of transdisciplinary innovation, where close collaboration between academia, industry, societal sectors is crucial for generating novel solutions to challenges while requiring also a holistic approach towards it. And that is why collaborative projects are so important in the perspective of transdisciplinary innovation. Usually in those projects, students from diverse fields, for example, engineering, business, design, and health sciences, come together to tackle real-world problems. And the innovation that happens in those collaborations isn't just academic, it's also practical, creative, and it's exactly what businesses and industries are looking for in graduates.
Thank you, Medisa. It's really interesting to see how this multidisciplinary collaboration works, especially transdisciplinary innovation, as you just mentioned, and how it all combined drive innovation and impacts our daily lives, and also help the students to be better prepared for when they go to the job market, and also support them through these types of collaborations and increase their chances to have opportunities opened and doors opened for them. And why do you think showcasing student talent through these collaborative projects is so crucial in today's educational and professional landscape?
Well, as we all could notice, the landscape of both education and work is rapidly evolving, and simply traditional classroom learning, while valuable, often falls short in preparing students for the complex challenges they will face in their careers. In this sense, collaborative projects bridge the gap between academia and industry. For example, recent studies and reports from the World Economic Forum and a group of scientists show that project-based and experimental learning significantly improves students' problem solving, teamwork, and communication skills, all valued by employers and crucial for today's workforce. And from my working experience with different institutions, I can speak on the example of France and Australia to confirm this. For example, at Institute Mines-Télécom Business School, there is an emphasis on collaboration through interdisciplinary programs, partnerships with industry, and real-world problem-solving opportunities for students. By collaborating with business and international institutions, IMTBS and other schools in France foster innovation and prepare students to excel in global and technological challenges that are more and more present in today's labor market.
That indeed sounds so crucial. As you just mentioned, the student needs these abilities so they can actually do what is asked from them from the job market, and creating this environment in a safe space as a university setting that where they know, okay, we are still learning, and somehow in a control environment, because when you go to the world work, it's definitely something that you cannot predict, and it's way more time pressure and all of the things, and providing the students in a safe space to have this opportunity to learn how to handle all of these things. And then when they go out there, provide innovation and drive real world changes that can be really, really impactful for many, many people. Moving on, I would like to discuss a bit examples. So how can we showcase this? As you said, you have seen, so I would like to hear from that. So maybe you could share some example of how students transitioned from a classroom learning environment to a boardroom level, and also how problem-solving skills and other types of skills were developed through collaborative initiatives.
Yeah, definitely. I can share two examples again from Institute Mines-Télécom Business School and the University of Technology Sydney. For example, at IMTBS school, there are various initiatives. Just one of them that I would love to highlight in today's podcast, and that actually is being used as a good case study practice across various European projects, is the Challenge Project The Entrepreneur, which is a competition and entrepreneurship course bringing together second-year students from engineering and management, as well as international students, to develop a viable business plan in small groups, usually from 5 to 6 on average, students being present in groups for 1 week. The challenge lasts 5 days, and it's coordinated by researchers, teachers, and supervisors, experts from companies and industry across France. And mixed teams of engineering and management students set up a project to create digital businesses and startups. At the end of the challenge, each team has to submit a video business plan and present its project in the form of Broadway pitch. This challenge stimulates the spirit of innovation in students, help them develop an entrepreneurial spirit, also teaches them how to work in project mode in mixed teams that are interdisciplinary by the nature, but also providing an opportunity for companies to get access to talents, innovative ideas, and also for students to, showcase their skills and experiences to potential companies that are looking for qualified workers who will help them build their companies and bring innovative solutions to the society. The results till now have been fantastic over the years. The students developed various soft skills in interdisciplinary teams and transform their experience in incubators afterwards this program ends. And also, as the practice showed, many French schools followed this example and duplicated, challenged the entrepreneur in their own institutional settings. Another example is the University Innovation Project. It's a unique 13-week program offered by the Transdisciplinary Innovation School at the University of Technology, Sydney, where final year of bachelor students of creative intelligence and innovation students collaborate in small transdisciplinary teams with industry partners from sectors like corporate, government, non-for-profits, and small and medium-sized enterprises. These teams work together to tackle world real challenges presented by the partners, but while leveraging innovative thinking and diverse perspectives to develop impactful solutions. The IIP program provides a mutually beneficial platform for partners as well as students to engage in fresh, creative ideas while offering tangible results to both students and partners.
Thank you so much for sharing these two examples that you have seen close in the institutions that you are involved. And it's really interesting to hear exactly what you mentioned, that it's an opportunity for all parties involved, as in for the students to develop skills to showcase themselves, and for the industry to have access to these talents already, and of course for the university joining this environment and providing that chances for all sides involved is also very enriching. And as we just mentioned, the initiatives, they impact so many stakeholders all at once, and it really make this impact that I just mentioned preparing better for the transition from a classroom to a boardroom, because that's in the end the job of university, to prepare the students so they know how to do this transition as smoothly as possible, and also giving this a whole chance of being exposed early on their studies, so it's easier also when they are closer to graduating. And it's clear that there is a strong push toward these more practical and hands-on learning experiences, highlighting this importance of exposing students to real-world business challenges. We have been seeing that also in research. So it's not only about learning theories anymore, but also it's about applying them in the context that actually mirror the complexity of the professional world, because that's where everyone is going after graduating somehow. And these collaborations, these projects or transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary initiatives, they create a win-win situation for all those involved. So their impacts are positive not only on student employability, but also in industry innovation, as you also have mentioned with your examples. And your examples also highlight how the students can bring innovation to the companies. If they are in this challenging from entrepreneurship, it already changes their mindset and tackles different abilities, and also, as I mentioned, in the early stage of their careers. And also one of the key benefits of this project, as we can hear and understand from what we have been discussing, is how it allows the students to build a portfolio of real world work. Because you can say and write your CV that you have communication skills or pitching skills, but it's different when you showcase, okay, I have this skill because I participated in this challenge that required me to do a pitch. And I think this is a very tangible example for the employers. So it is one thing to talk about your skills in the interview and putting in the CV, but it's another completely different that you really can showcase that you actually work somehow in a real challenge or with the company is still inside the educational landscape.
Yeah, absolutely, Mainara. I agree with all what you have just said. Collaborative projects, as you pointed out, are gold for students' portfolios. Instead of just listing their academic qualifications in CVs, students can actually showcase real-world experiences that are valued by employers, either being prototyping, conducting a market research, or leading the team. And actually, this portfolio that they have can make a huge difference in job prospects. For example, one of the recent studies that tracked graduates who participated in industry-integrated capstone projects found out that these students had higher starting salaries and faster career progression compared to their peers who didn't have similar experience. Collaborative projects show employers that actually students can work in interdisciplinary teams, transdisciplinary teams that can adapt to industry changes and take on leadership roles that are more and more important. And as you just said, it's one thing to have a degree, it's another to have practical experience that demonstrates that you can actually contribute to businesses' success from day one.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so important to showcase the students' talents also during these projects and other initiatives or challenges, especially when a company is involved, because that already opens a door and create a networking that can be explored by the student further if they want to. And it's also clear then there is a need to develop structured programs for this student industry engagement and also create platforms for showcasing student projects to potential employers. So universities should seek more and more to adapt these formats with external collaboration where they can have this multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary aspect that we are discussing. And it's such a waste of attention if we don't show off all the work students do in these cooperation projects, for example, because it not only exposes the students themselves, but also expose the company, expose the university as a leader in this type of cooperations and opportunities. And also the educators, they can showcase how forward they think and how they try to balance the academic rigor with practical industry needs, which is one of the biggest challenges nowadays. We do not know, or it's not clear how to do it, and that's why our project actually exists. That's what we want to showcase more and more and make it aware for all the educators out there that there are a lot of ways that other educators are already doing that you can follow or you try to adapt.
Exactly. In order to respond on all those challenges that you have just mentioned, it is crucial to therefore have adequate programs and initiatives within higher education institutions that are specifically designed actually to prepare students to this transition from classroom projects to more professional engagement and workforces that waits for them once they get their degrees. And currently there has been a shift in the landscape of skills, which is becoming crucial to both organizational success and individual career growth, with a growing appreciation for employees' versatility and adaptability. For example, nowadays there are concepts such as T-shaped and X-shaped skills that are becoming very popular. T-shaped professionals have specialized expertise in a specific field, while also possessing a broad understanding of other areas, enabling them to work collaboratively across disciplines, and that presents that inter and transdisciplinary innovation approach in a skill setting. While X-shaped professionals combine deep expertise with a wide range of skills, they distinguish themselves with exceptional leadership abilities while driving collaboration and innovation through the organization. And those are some of the models of the skills that universities perhaps can follow and get inspiration from, as shown by integrating these models into collaborative learning experiences. Higher education institutions can actually better prepare students for the complexities of the boardrooms out there outside of the classroom, where cooperation, leadership, and a mix of deep and broad skills are essential.
Yes, it's so interesting that you bring up these concepts that are getting out there and probably many people haven't heard, but it's something that the industry is definitely having a look to have this type of professionals that have this specific set of skills that you, as you just mentioned, you need to have not only knowledge on your major where you graduated, you need to be deeper than that, and you need to have at least a basic idea. And as you also mentioned, to have a basic idea of different disciplines and different topics so you can integrate and be a better prepared professional. And as we are actually talking about skills and skill sets, there are some studies that are already showing, for example, that employers are predicting that in the next 5 years, 44% of all workers' skill will actually undergo a significant change. So it's going to change, and the university needs to prepare to address that. The skills that are changing rapidly right now and becoming even more important are cognitive skills, particularly complex problem solving. And also, interestingly, creative thinking is reported to be growing even faster than analytical thinkings. And also when it comes to social emotional attitudes and skills, curiosity and commitment to lifelong learning are actually considered the most important for the next years, followed by resilience, flexibility, agility, motivation, and also self-awareness. So there is a whole set of skills that are becoming more and more important, and universities need to be aware of that to help better prepare the students, as we are mentioning, to go from being inside the classroom to outside the classroom. And again, any type of cooperation in education, any type of innovative approaches, multidisciplinary approaches, they all contribute to the students' development, this type of skills that I just mentioned. So it is also very, very important to create the opportunities for the students to reflect on their experiences and also articulate what they have learned is actually very crucial for their future. So these moments help the students to internalize the skills they develop and also communicate their value to future employers. So again, when they are in the interview, they are better prepared to showcase, okay, I'm able to do this or that, I'm able to think like this or that. So the universities really need to be prepared to integrate and provide for the students so they are easier embedded later on when they are searching for jobs.
That is a great point. I definitely agree with you. Definitely, reflection is becoming one of the highly suggested pedagogical approaches and tools that educators supposed to use in their classrooms in order to get better results in terms of the learning and professional development and reskilling and upskilling, as you have just mentioned in some of those data presented, because it ties into the idea of experimental learning, which is at the heart of these collaborative projects that actually can bring as a tangible results, outcomes for students that are visible in their learning process, that is reflective in the skills they gained throughout the process of learning. And as you said, some skills are erasing while others are being erased from the scope of what employers are looking for. Besides that, mentorship is also very important in this process to involve and ensure that students not only develop the skills, but also that we take them into a boardroom to succeed in these collaborations. And students usually come in with a lot of enthusiasm and creativity in the classroom, but they often need guidance on how to navigate the complexities of working in a professional environment that is more and more challenging. And here is where the external partners come into play, acting like mentors that help students actually cross that bridge and gap by providing insights into industry practices, decision-making, professional standards and practices that students might not be aware of in their classroom. But of course, we cannot disregard the role of the educators in all this process, where educators as first mentors and role models in the classroom serve also students in bridging the gap between what is learned in the classroom and how it's applicable in the practical setting, without, of course, micromanaging. I think it's important for educators to let students lead, but be there to provide support when students hit the roadblocks by themselves.
Yeah, that's very well said. Educators should be committed and keen to develop new concepts and help as much as they can their students. And it's essential to have this role as a facilitator, trying to communicate the cooperation between all parties. And we have been talking a lot about external collaborations, but I also want to point out that internal cooperations contribute as much as to the students' development from the classroom to outside there in the workforce. For example, when bachelor students work together with master students from different fields, so for example, if we have health students and engineering students, and they are from the same institution, so we're talking here about cross-departmental cooperations, and students from, for example, we have a case like this in the FH Münster that students form small groups to work on self-selected questions and then develop integrative concepts, with then the courses actually being held by two different educators, one from each department, so health and engineering, for example. So they ensure that the discussions between the disciplines are happening, and then they also bring the different perspectives on the topic. So the students, they are challenged to think outside of what they are used to see every day in their students' life or in the everyday courses. So in this scenario, the educators actually must coordinate with each other and be always there and listen to all the concerns from students together, so they are actually able to present the different perspectives and how they connect to each other. Of course, this takes energy, this takes time, but it's necessary to provide this interdisciplinary experience. So such internal cooperations, they also expand a lot the range of ways of thinking, possibilities for action, methodological approaches, and also possible solutions, innovations, while it's also improving social skills that we also discussed previously. So we have such case here, the FH Münster, between departments, cross-departmental, and that's why I wanted to bring it out that we should not only think about external collaboration. Internal is also possible and should be also fostered.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Mainara. I think that when speaking about a collaboration, we cannot let internal collaboration go under the radar, and we shouldn't undermine the value that it can bring to students and educators both. Specifically, in the example that you provided, peer and other examples that we covered in Cooperation in Education project and similar initiatives, we saw actually that peer-to-peer learning and collaboration enhances students' experiences, positive attitudes towards lifelong learning, and applying knowledge into practical, innovative solutions. Just thinking about some of the examples, on my mind came a positive and similar example from the University of Montpellier in France that also has been used as a good case study practice. It's called the Interdisciplinary and In-Lab Graduate Program, where, for example, this program offers 10 master's track and 1 engineering track in distinct disciplines. Then students are guided by 2 researchers or professor researchers as they develop interdisciplinary research projects, including hands-on in-lab workshop with their peers that focus on interdisciplinary collaboration and thematic pillars that are crucial to the economy. And of course, it introduces students to the world of research within the laboratories while focusing on interdisciplinary collaboration inside of the lab or university. And it's a more research immersion approach, but also develops the essential skills in students that we have been talking about. And it also drives innovation through transdisciplinarity, as we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast.
That's right. It was a really good example. And as you mentioned, we have these cases, these examples in our good practice collection from our project. So I would definitely leave the link here in the show notes so everyone can download and have a look, because we have over 30 initiatives that can give the educators hints and ideas of how they can implement internal and external collaborations. And before we wrap up, I would like to ask you about the future, Medisa. So are there any trends or innovations on the horizon of cooperation education and transdisciplinary innovation that educators, students, business, everybody should be aware of?
Definitely, there are many interesting and evolving trends that educators and students both should take note of. As we look for the future of education, we see on the horizon different trends and innovations that are shaping the way learning and collaboration across disciplines is currently working. First, and the most common example nowadays that we come across literature is the use of artificial intelligence and personalized learning, which is transforming education by offering tailored learning experiences and real-time feedback to students, allowing them actually to create their own learning journey and collaboration journey at their own pace and abilities. And as we could see and conclude from this podcast, upskilling and reskilling and adapting to evolving labor market and industries is becoming essential. And this transdisciplinary learning and problem-based learning actually provides solutions to some of those problems. Also, business and educational institutions are working more closely together than ever. So we see a rise in cooperation between industry and universities. And those two are developing partnerships that provide hands-on learning and innovation labs and experiences, as we could see in all those examples mentioned from the context of France and Australia, but also Germany. And what finally comes is the growing focus on sustainability in education, where we see that sustainability is the future of our world is uncertain, and we see more and more challenges on that note being in rise in the last couple of decades, where schools actually are focusing on integrating practices that align with global sustainability goals and also empowering students to become future leaders in solving global challenges through their careers. And maybe one of the final messages that I would love our listeners to take with themselves in short is that the future of education is about personalization, collaboration, transdisciplinary innovation geared towards creating adaptable, forward-thinking learners ready to tackle the challenges of tomorrow.
I love that last sentence and everything that you explained. That's so much that is happening and it's to come, that we need to be aware and we need to start thinking how we are going to do it, how we're going to deal with it. And it was really great to hear. Thank you so much, Medisa, for your amazing insights. It is clear now that there are many, many ways to support students in developing all those skills that they need once they graduate and they transition to the job market. But it's also clear that we need to keep our eyes open and see what's going on out there. That's what our project is also trying to do. And with that, I think we are at the end of our episode. Today it was about From Classroom to Boardroom, showcasing student talent in collaborative projects. Thank you so much to our listeners for joining us today. And of course, thank you so much, Medisa, for being here and sharing all your great insights.
Thank you as well, Mainara, for having me. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in into today's episode. Join us as we continue to explore collaborative projects and their role in the future of higher education. Follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. If you're interested in further materials, check out the show notes of this episode where you will find a link to our project website. We will fill it with further content and resources in the upcoming weeks. Cooperation in Education podcast series, where collaboration meets inspiration.